Finley was a very special little fox. He wasn't red or brown like other foxes you might see in storybooks. Oh no, Finley was a brilliant, beautiful blue. His fur was the color of a perfect summer sky, just after the sun has woken up and chased all the sleepy clouds away. It was fluffy and soft, and it seemed to shimmer with a gentle light whenever he scampered about. Finley lived in a truly magical place known as Rainbow Valley, a cartoon world that was always bursting with the brightest colors and the happiest sounds. He had a heart full of sunshine and kindness, always eager for a new adventure, especially if it meant he could share it with his dear friends. Now Finley was almost never on his own because he had the most wonderful, bestest of friends to share his days with. First there was Pip. Pip was a little puppy as yellow as a field of happy sunflowers, with a tail that wagged so hard his whole body wiggled with pure joy. Pip was always ready for a game of chase or to fetch a bouncy rainbow-coloured ball. He was full of energy and laughter, and his loyalty to Finley was as big as the tallest lollipop tree in Rainbow Valley. Their friendship was a very precious thing, woven with shared secrets and countless happy explorations. Then there was Willow, a gentle and sweet purple rabbit. Her fur was the softest lavender shade, like a field of fragrant flowers, and her long velvety ears twitched with every new sound and sight. Willow was a little quieter than the boisterous Pip, but she was incredibly clever and often had the most thoughtful ideas for their games and adventures. She loved to look after her little garden, where flowers sang tiny, cheerful songs all day long. Finley, Pip and Willow were a perfect team, always together exploring every nook and cranny of their amazing home. Rainbow Valley, where they lived, was no ordinary place. It was a wonderland painted with every color imaginable, a real feast for the eyes. The trees in Rainbow Valley had bark like stripy candy canes, and their leaves whispered happy stories when the wind tickled them. Brightly colored lollipop flowers grew in lush green meadows, and the rivers didn't just flow with water, but with sparkling, fizzy lemonade that giggled as it went along. Even the clouds in the sky were like fluffy pink and blue cotton candy. It was a world made for joy, the most perfect playground for Finley and his friends. One glorious morning, the sun decided to shine with an extra sparkle, painting Rainbow Valley in the warmest, most golden light. Finley, our little blue fox, stretched his fluffy fur, gave a tiny, contented yawn, and suddenly a most brilliant idea popped into his head. "My dearest friends," he announced, his blue eyes shining with excitement, "today is absolutely perfect. We simply must have a grand picnic adventure." Pip, the yellow puppy, gave a series of joyful yips, his tail becoming a happy blur. Willow, the purple rabbit, wiggled her nose in delight and hopped up and down, her soft paws making little thumps on the grassy ground. With much excitement and happy chatter, the three friends began to gather all the goodies for their special picnic. Each one brought their very favorite thing to share, making sure their basket would be full of delicious treats. Finley carefully chose a punnet of the plumpest, juiciest red strawberries he could find. They were like little rubies, sweet and gleaming. Pip, ever the enthusiastic one, packed a bag full of his special bone-shaped biscuits, wonderfully crunchy and oh so tasty. Willow, with her gentle touch, added some freshly picked crisp orange carrots from her own little garden, along with 2 small bottles of sweet clover juice, wonderfully cool and refreshing. They decided to go to their most favorite spot in all of Rainbow Valley for their picnic. It was a lovely, lush green meadow right next to the sparkling stream, which always sang a soft, gurgling song as it danced its way through the valley. There they found the perfect patch of soft grass, nicely shaded by a very large, friendly tree whose leaves rustled like a gentle round of applause. Finley took out a bright, checkered blanket. It had happy red and white squares, and spread it carefully on the ground. The colors looked so cheerful against the vibrant green grass, making their picnic spot look truly inviting. The air all around them was filled with the sweet, lovely perfume of 1,000 rainbow-colored wildflowers that were blooming in the meadow. Tiny, glittering butterflies with wings like beautiful stained glass windows fluttered and danced in the warm, golden sunshine. Pip, overcome with happiness, chased his tail in a quick, joyful circle, while Willow began to arrange the food neatly on the blanket, making it look like a picture from a storybook. Finley looked at his wonderful friends, his little blue heart overflowing with pure joy. They were all laughing and talking, their happy voices blending with the sweet sounds of Rainbow Valley. Just as Finley was reaching for the biggest, reddest strawberry and Pip was about to crunch into a yummy biscuit, a very faint sound drifted towards them. It wasn't a happy sound, not like the cheerful giggle of the sparkling stream or the friendly rustle of the tree leaves. No, this was a soft, tiny chirp, but it was filled with such sadness. It was a mournful little sound that made Finley stop right away, his bright blue ears perking up with concern. He looked all around, his sharp fox eyes scanning the nearby bushes and tall flowers, wondering where such an unhappy noise could possibly be coming from in their joyful valley. Pip, who had been about to pounce on a biscuit, also paused, his head tilting to one side with a worried expression. Willow's long lavender ears swiveled this way and that, trying to pinpoint the source of the sorrowful sound. And then they saw it, perched on a low-hanging branch of a nearby weeping willow tree. Though today, it seemed the tree itself was sad too, was a very, very small bird. Its feathers were a dull plain brown, and they looked all ruffled and untidy, not sleek and happy. Its tiny head was bowed low, and its little shoulders seemed to tremble with quiet sobs. It looked so terribly dejected and all alone. Finley's kind and gentle heart immediately felt a little ache for the poor bird. He just couldn't bear to see any creature looking so miserable, especially not in their wonderful Rainbow Valley, which was usually so full of laughter and cheer. He knew, deep inside his blue fur, that he had to do something, anything, to help. Without even thinking twice, he carefully picked up the most perfect, juicy red strawberry from his own share, one that was practically glowing with sweetness and sunshine. He also very gently poured a little bit of Willow's sweet clover juice into a clean, broad leaf, making a tiny, perfect cup for the bird. Holding his offerings carefully, Finley took slow, quiet steps towards the branch where the sad bird sat. He didn't want to startle the little thing, as it already looked so frightened and unhappy. "Hello there, little friend," Finley said, his voice as soft and gentle as a summer cloud floating by. "You seem to be feeling a little bit down today. We are having a lovely picnic, you see, with lots of yummy things. Would you perhaps like to try some of this delicious strawberry and maybe have a little sip of this sweet juice? I really hope it might make you feel just a tiny bit better." The little brown bird slowly, very slowly lifted its droopy head. Its small, beady eyes, which had been cloudy with sadness, blinked a few times in surprise. It saw Finley's kind blue face looking at it with such genuine concern, and it saw the bright red strawberry and the leaf cup of juice held out so gently. Hesitantly at first, as if it couldn't quite believe it, the bird hopped a tiny bit closer along the branch. Then, gathering a little bit of courage, it took a small, tentative peck at the sweet fruit. The taste must have been a wonderful surprise, because its eyes seemed to lose a little of their dullness almost immediately. Encouraged by the first taste, the little bird took another, much bigger bite of the juicy strawberry, its tiny beak working quickly and eagerly. Then it cautiously leaned forward and sipped some of the cool, sweet clover juice from the leaf Finley was holding so steady. A soft, contented sigh escaped its tiny chest, a sound that was so much happier than its earlier sad little chirps. It ruffled its feathers, and this time they seemed to settle more smoothly, looking much neater. A tiny spark of life, a little flicker of joy returned to its eyes, and it even sat up a little straighter on the branch, looking much less forlorn. Pip and Willow had been watching this whole heartwarming scene unfold from the picnic blanket, their own hearts swelling with a warm, happy feeling. Seeing the little bird's amazing transformation from deep sadness to quiet contentment brought big, bright smiles to their faces too. Finley, our kind blue fox, felt an incredible warmth spread all through him, a feeling more wonderful and satisfying than eating all the strawberries in Rainbow Valley. The little bird, now visibly cheered up, hopped about on the branch, gave a series of happy, melodic chirps, and then, to their delight, it even sang a short, sweet thank you song before it flew off with strong, light wing beats into the bright blue sky. That afternoon, as Finley, Pip and Willow finally settled down to enjoy their delicious picnic, they talked and talked about what had just happened. They realized something truly important that day, a lesson as bright and clear as the Rainbow Valley sun. Showing kindness, even through a small, simple act, like sharing a piece of fruit or a sweet drink, can make a truly enormous difference in someone else's world. It has the power to chase away the darkest clouds of sadness and bring in the warm sunshine of happiness. Helping others, they understood, not only makes those others feel better, but also fills your own heart with an incredible joy, making the whole wide world a much kinder, brighter, and altogether more wonderful place for every single one of us to share.